So now let's go ahead and build our slab. Let's open up our layers manager and let's add a layer called S-slab. I'm going to call it S-slab because I want to separate my 2D layers from my 3D layers. So I'm just giving it a S in the front for SketchUp. And let's go ahead and use our rectangle tool. And I'm going to start creating surfaces from my plan here. Here I'm just selecting the endpoints from endpoints here. I'm going to go back and clean this up in a minute. Here you can see some of the advantages of having your model, making your model pretty clean, or your CAD plan that you inserted, keeping it pretty clean so you can go ahead and create these surfaces easily. So I'm going to leave my pool out for now. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, now I'm going to use my 2-point arc command for this portion right here. Going to just drag it there. Select those endpoints. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the lines that I know I need to clean. And here's another section here. So I'm going to go ahead and select the surface so I can see what areas I still may need to block out. Oops. Okay. So now let me toggle off the 1F layer, which is my first floor layer. I can take a look at what I have drawn to make sure I have my slab how I want it. Let's go ahead and we'll keep these in the same slab here. I'm going to delete this because this is going to be a fence later. Okay. So now I'm going to highlight all these. Or actually, let me shut off the 1F layer. I'm going to select all these and I'm going to make this into a group. And then I'm going to copy this down 1 foot. And let's go ahead and hide our first group. So this is going to be our actual slab here. And I'm going to go ahead and extend this back up a foot using my push-pull tool. Here, when we see it changing a different color, there are 2 different faces to every surface. And we can toggle those surfaces by hitting control. So I'm going to try and keep them all on that same white surface for now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide this, turn on my 1F layer, and actually I'm going to unhide both of those that I just made. And when you see it flickering like that, it's because there are 2 surfaces overlapping each other. So now if I shut off my slab, before I hide my slab, you will see that we have just this one surface here. And the reason I want this surface here is because I'm going to build my walls off of this surface. Now let's go ahead and start modeling our first floor walls. Let's go ahead and create a layer called S-walls. And let's make that the active layer. Now let's move this group to the S-walls layer. I'm going to go ahead and open that and also move all these surfaces and lines to the S-walls layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out the spaces that I know are not going to be part of my walls. So I'm going to cut out this back patio. I'm going to remove the pool area for now. And let's go ahead and cut out this planter over here. Okay, let's go ahead and shut off 1F just to take a look at our base for our walls, and it looks good. So let's go ahead and start cutting out spaces using our rectangle tool, and we're just going to be selecting from one endpoint to another endpoint, and there you can see it cuts out that space inside the walls. So let's go ahead and do this throughout our plan. And we will have to do a little bit of cleaning up, but if you have a lot of 90-degree angles in your plan, this method could really save you a lot of time and help you to build models very quickly. Going to be our stair area, and here's our fireplace. And let's go ahead and cut out our columns for our back patio here. And let's see. Okay, now let's go ahead and shut off our 1F layer and take a look at some of the things we need to clean up. Let's go ahead and use the erase tool, and we'll select some of these lines to erase. And I'm going to go ahead and erase this slab here. Okay. There I have the walls that I want to use for my first floor, so I'm going to use my push-pull tool, and depending on my ceiling height I may pull it up 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one up 10 feet, and I'm going to type 10 feet, enter, and let's go ahead and pull these columns up as well 10 feet. I'm just going to use inferencing and match the height here, and just match the height. And there I've already created my first floor set of walls. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for our second floor. I'm going to stay on my wall layer, and I'm going to create another group over here where I'm going to create my floor system and my second floor walls. Let's go ahead and create a group using the rectangle tool. And let's go ahead and cut out some of these spaces here. And that pretty much is our, that pretty much will be our second floor area. And I'm going to make this into a group. And for our floor system, I'm going to drop this down 1 feet 6 inches. And then I'm going to double click in that and drag that back up 1 foot 6. And that will be my floor system. I'm going to hide that for now. Let's turn back on 1F. And here I'm in my group that I'm going to make my walls from. So we're going to use the same method with our rectangle tool. I'm going to cut out these spaces in my walls. And some of this you will know by knowing the plan you are working with. You will know what spaces are going to be walls, what's going to be a shower, that maybe you don't want a full size wall there. So I'm really trying to focus on primarily the structure right now. And I think I have gotten all of my walls here. I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to leave that out for now. Now let's shut off the 2F layer and let's go ahead and do some cleaning up. Okay, now let's go ahead and use our push-pull tool, and let's make our second floor 9 foot tall. I'm going to type 9 foot, enter, and there we've created our second floor. Let's go ahead and turn our 1F and 2F back on, and I'm also going to hit unhide all, and there you will see our floor system over our under our second floor walls. So when I'm ready, I will stack this back on top of the first floor, but before I do that, I want to begin to cut out doors and windows from my first and second floor.